Sorry. So in morning becomes Electra. A comparison of classical Aeschylus tragedy and modern American tragedy uh, can be seen. In this tragedy, chorus is replaced by choric characters and the furies that pursue the sun. Orestes in Aeschylus drama and Orin is a character. Orin in Morning becomes Electra. Uh, in Orin case, lead him to commit suicide come from within instead of outside. Mean here external furies and humanites don't appear. There is a sense of guilt, and that sense of guilt acts like furies in एसिक्लिस ट्रेजेडी. एसिक्लिस ट्रेजेडी में हम देखते हैं कि जिस वक्त ओरेस्टिस जो है वो अपनी मां क्लेटेमनेस्ट्रा को कत्ल करता है अपने बाप एगामेम्नन का रिवेंज लेने के लिए, तो फ्यूरीज आ जाती हैं और वो फ्यूरीज जो है वो आके क्या नाम है इसका, ओरेस्टिस को एक अनग्रेटफुल सन डिक्लेयर कर देती हैं कि ये बेटा जो है ये बहुत ही नाशुक्र है, इसने मां का कत्ल किया. हालांकि पहले सबने उसको जो इंस्पायर किया था कि ये जो उसकी माँ है ये नाशुक्री बीवी है और इसने अपने शोहर को कत्ल किया, लिहाजा इसका जो है वो किस्सा तमाम होना चाहिए. स्पेशली उसकी सिस्टर इलेक्ट्रा ने और ओरेस्टिस को परसुएड किया था अपनी माँ क्लेटेमनेस्ट्रा को कत्ल करने के, और जब वो कत्ल कर देता है तो वो एक मुजरिम बन जाता है, इसलिए कि जी ही इज एन अनग्रेटफुल सन, और सेकंड ही इज अ मर्डरर ऑफ अ वुमन. तो उसके अब उनका वो केस जो है वो एक तरफ फ्यूरीज हैं जो कि ओरेस्टिस की को टीज करती हैं, उसको जो है वो विंडिकेट करती हैं, और दूसरी तरफ ह्यूमनाइट्स हैं जो उसको सपोर्ट करना चाहती हैं. और ये फ्यूरीज और ह्यूमनाइट उसके बाद आखिरी जो प्ले का पार्ट है यानी थर्ड प्ले है ट्रिलॉजी का, वहां वो एक अदालत से जाके बैठ जाती है और दोनों साइड के जो आर्गुमेंट्स हैं वो प्रेजेंट होते हैं, गॉड्स और गॉडेसेस वोट कास्ट करते हैं और टाई हो जाता है यानी ड्रा हो जाते हैं, दोनों साइड पर इक्वल वोट होते हैं. तब जो गॉडेस अथीना या अथीन है वो अपने कास्टिंग वोट के साथ सेव्स ओरेस्टिस. But in modern tragedy of Morning Becomes Electra, we see that furies are not seen, but these are a conscientious voice of a guilty soul, Orin. And Orin's sin actually leads him to commit suicide. So here there is no external help of humanites which can save, you can say, the character Orin, who looks like Orestes in classical tragedy. तो क्लासिकल ट्रेजेडी का जो प्रोटैगोनिस्ट था वो तो बच गया था ह्यूमनाइट्स की हेल्प से और अथीना के कास्टिंग वोट से, लेकिन यहाँ पर ओरिन जो है he fails to save himself and he commits suicide. More to the point, there is no final tragic recognition, no sense of an ultimate purpose or resolution. In Orestia trilogy, there was resolution. That resolution was that it's wrong to kill anyone. It's the worst to kill any relation, but it's also wrong to kill. It's also wrong to continue the chain of murders. So an arbitrary force must enter and stop that chain of killing, chain of murder. In Morning Becomes Electra, nothing external help appears. Rather, uh, the Puritan soul, Lavinia, who is a sister of Orin and the main character of the story, she has to confine herself in the house to live with the ghost of her father, mother, and brother. She confesses, love isn't permitted to me. The dead are too strong. Mean one tragedy is which she has experienced, and the other tragedy is which she will bear while living with the memories of her blood relations, father, mother, and brother. I mean, Christine, Ezra Menon, and her brother Orin Menon. She is imprisoned in the past, not liberated by it. So that's the major difference in Morning Becomes Electra and Orestes. No final tragic insight into the meaning of suffering because it seems to have no meaning. No end to the pain is promised. Uh, I would like to say a few words about first part. I mean, the homecoming. As I have mentioned, in this trilogy, there are characters like Lavinia Menon, her mother Christine, her father Brigadier General Ezra, her brother Orin, um, her father's cousin, and we can say, in a way, her uncle, Captain Adam Brandt, Hazel Niles, and the play captures the moment when Ezra returns from civil war, and when he returns from war, he experiences, you can say, the similar situation as Agamemnon found in his palace. Mean Clytemnestra, his wife, she has a lover. I mean, um, Agestheus. And here we see that Christine uh, has an affair with her lover Adam Brandt, and out of her envy, about out of the conflict of two families, mean Adam Brandt's family and Ezra Mannon's family in the past. She plots to kill her husband. On the other side, Lavinia, who is who has a suspicion that her mother has betrayed her father, and she thinks that she has been denied of her mother's love, and she is more the daughter of a father rather than mother. She decides to take revenge from mother and expose her. Before she succeeds to expose her, Manon is poisoned by his wife. And when he dies, in the last scene of this first, you can say, part, I mean, the homecoming, he shares that secret with his daughter Lavinia. And in next play, she decides to persuade her brother Oren to take revenge of her father's death from his mother. And Oren, as a moral responsibility, as a Puritan responsibility, he kills his mother and develops a guilt. And that guilt causes his suicide. And in the last part, the whole house turns into the haunted house where Lavinia has confined herself. O'Neill's other play is Long Day's Journey into Night, which has a claim to the title of O'Neill's finest work. On Long Day's Journey into Night tells the story of the Tyrone family. James Tyrone is head of a family, a former matinee idol. Matinee idol means who used to act. His wife, Mary, a nervous, rheumatized patient, a sickly woman addicted to morphine, and their older son. His name is also James Tyrone, but his nickname is Jimmy, who is alcoholic and cynic. Mean he has disillusioned, and he has also corrupted his younger brother Edmund, who has literary aspirations and suffers from tuberculosis. One of their brother Eugene died in childhood, and Edmund and Mary believe that James Tyrone, the father, is responsible for the death of that baby. So in this play, the blood has gone bad, and the past grudge of each member of family against other has spoiled their present life. The play captures a day in the life of Tyrone family from breakfast to night, and we see on one side that a day turns into night. On the other side, that shows the whole episode that has happened in the past. That was the long day journey. Long day's journey means the memories of the character that help to understand what has happened to Tyrone family members and why they cannot reconcile in their present life. O'Neill was drawing on his own life and the life of his family when he wrote this play. Edmund is an exercise in self-portraiture. It means very like O'Neill, but he was drawing on this for a deeper purpose. What is on offer here is a study of lives in disintegration. Family disintegration, social disintegration is one of the important aspect of this play, major theme of this play. People without something to give coherence, shape, and significance to their lives. They have lost that something that might have convinced them once that life made sense. That is, even if they had, as a result, they are left astray and anxious. They look back with a sense of longing and loss. They look around them in pain and confusion. They stumble uncertainly through their lives like people in a fog seeking release. Edmund claims, I will always be a stranger who never feels at home, who does not want and is not really wanted, who can never belong, who must always be a little in love with death. So that is the dilemma which Edmund articulates, but actually that is the dilemma of Mary, Jamie, James, all family members. He also calls stammering is the native eloquence of us folk people, mean they are the folk people who cannot see each other. They are living in their own prejudice, they are living in their own memories, and their memories have blinded them about each other. I think O'Neill himself wrote about this play. That play was written in blood and tears. Tyrones are divided, disintegrated people. They lack belief. They lack a sense of community and stability. They are at odds with themselves and they are at odds with each other. Mary Tyrone, mother, can fluctuate between longing to be alone, despairing of being alone, then longing to be alone again, all within a space of single speech. मीन कभी जो है वो बाकी सबसे अलग होके तन्हा रहना चाहती है और तब उसको तन्हाई की जो दुख है उसका एहसास होता है उसे she hates it and she wants to reunite but again she fails. Mary is dwelling on her childhood dreams of becoming a nun or a concerned pianist or her schoolgirl romance with a matinee idol. That matinee idol was James Tyrone, whom she loved and whom she married, but that marriage actually proved nothing to them. She can and does lapse back into those dreams again. Every member of the family vacillates between the expressions of hatred and love, self-justification and self-recrimination, despair and love, despair and hope, guilt and remorse. The play captures one day of Tyrone's life, but there is no development of action. There is no improvement in the state of the characters. Characters are aimless without anchor in anything except their dreams of what they might have been. For example, Mary believes that she is a nun, a concerned pianist, a great Shakespearean actor, or what they might be, a great writer, success, mean as Edmund wishes, and no forms of emotional rescue other than those offered by various narcotics. Edmund also recalls his life as a seaman, and sea is an important, you can say, image or symbol in dramas of O'Neill. At sea, once he remembers, he felt he had dissolved in the sea. became beauty and rhythm, became moonlight and the shape, and the high dim starred sky. And that that's a quotation, and that whole speech of Edmund is thought the most poetic in that most tragic play, Long Day's Journey into Night. He insists I belong within something greater than my own life or the life of man, to life itself, to God, if you want to put it that way. But such moments of union, such moments of belonging are rare here. The power and pain of his best work is a measure of that paradox. Long Day's Journey into Night achieves a tragic pathos precisely because it requires to the audience both to see and to share in the disintegration of Tyrone, to recognize that they are folk people and they are stammering for something they can never possess. Like T.S. Eliot, James Joyce, and uh, William Faulkner, O'Neill also believes the past is the present. I mean, past is not absent in present. Past dictates our present choice, present relations. So that's Next two dramatists are Tennessee Williams and Arthur Miller. Those careers revealed certain parallels. Both dramatists followed initial failure with the second play that established a reputation in particular dramatic territory. Miller and Tennessee Williams produced in a third play the finest of their career. Both went on to write some of the finest plays of the 1950s and ended the period of their greatest achievement in 1960s. Their styles reveal radical differences. For instance, Arthur Miller used realism to explore wider moral and political issues, as we see in his play The Crucible, A View from the Bridge, All My Sons, and Death of a Salesman. Tennessee Williams was more interested in deploying it to explore emotional and psychological forces, especially in context of the American South. Arthur Miller concentrated on the ordinary person put under extraordinary pressure by his or her society to be destroyed. Tennessee Williams focused on misfits, extraordinary people trying to bear up against the ordinary pressure of life. For Arthur Miller, the orbit of attention was formed by the common man, and he is known the writer who wrote Common Man's Tragedy, and he is idealized by the Marxist for that notion. It matters not at all whether a modern Arthur Miller is idealized by the Marxists who believe that common man deserves to be a tragic hero. It matters not at all whether a modern play concerns itself with a grocer or a president. Both can be a hero if the intensity of the hero's commitment to his cause is less than the maximum possible. He fashioned an idiom that replicated both the clarity and misperceptions of the vernacular. For Tennessee Williams, what mattered was the common humanity that connects the uncommon, the outsider to the rest of us, the aberrant to the average, like homosexuals, or you can say the characters who are victim of their imagination, like Amanda Wingfield or um, Laura Wingfield in Glass Menagerie, or Tom in Glass Menagerie, and Blanche in A Streetcar Named Desire. For Tennessee Williams' language was subtly poetic, rhythmic, and emotional. These two dramatists, in effect, measured the diverse potential of domestic realism, stretched out to incorporate borrowings from other forms and styles, notably symbolism and expressionism. By the way, Arthur Miller, who was born in a Jewish family, he was a Jew by birth. Like Harold Pinter, Harold Pinter was also Jew by birth. So Arthur Miller was a Jew, uh, but he didn't actually own that heritage, and he emerged as a sympathizer to progressive or Marxist approach towards life, and that can be seen in his play uh, Death of the Salesman, where he exposes capitalist economy, and his play The Crucible, where there is an open sport for the victims of McCarthyism. His second play is All My Son, that achieved success and introduced certain themes that would dominate his work. And these themes are pursuit of success and public appropriation, enshrined in American Dream. American Dream is one of the most important themes of Miller's drama. With his play Death of a Salesman, Miller unquestionably uh, endowed similar issues and problems with a tragic dimension. Death of a Salesman relates the story of a representative American character, Willie Loman. Loman means an ordinary man. Loman is his surname. Punningly indicates Willie as an ordinary character, ordinary person whose choices and consequences spell out the darker, destructive side of national American dream. A salesman who, after 35 years on the road, has never achieved the rewards and recognition for which he had hoped. Willie is driven to despair by his failure in a system that seems to him to guarantee success. Measuring his worth by the volume of his sales, Miller never lets us know what Willie sells because he is selling himself. Willie obsessively withdraws from the crisis and disappointments of the present into the memories of the past. Everything here is seen double as Willie sees it and as it is, a point sounded in the initial stage description of Willie's fragile seeming home. As we see